Now, the body of a woman was found near a jogging trail in Parkmore in Johannesburg a week ago on Sunday. Kirsten Kluyts participated in a MyRun Sandton running club event at George Lea Park, a place that is frequented by many runners. According to reports, one of the park run participants saw her belongings and alerted the organisers, who then confirmed her disappearance after tracking her running performance via a timing system. Now, Gauteng police are investigating this case, but let's get your reaction from the running community this morning. We're joined by Komegni Noubactep, who is with Fat Cats Athletic Club. Komegni, it's great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. And sure, what a heartbreaking, devastating story for the running community. We run together because there's meant to be safety in numbers, right?
Yes, morning. Thank you very much for having us. Yes, indeed, it is a very sad thing for us as runners or even as a community. It's always a sad thing when you lose someone in such a manner.
Yeah, absolutely. As Fat Cats Athletics Club, you know, what do you take on board about the way in which this happened and how you now plan to do your events differently?
Okay, so as we just said, this is a very sad thing, and unfortunately as runners we have sort of become targets for criminals because they've now realized that the gadgets that we have, for instance, our watches are expensive and the running shoes also are quite costly. So we are targeted these days for these things. So as a club, what we do is we have a program within our club that we call Safety Before Mileage. So we're literally saying to people, we run for health, but we need to make sure that we are always safe when we are out there on the road. So we encourage our runners to always run in groups, wear reflective clothing, avoid running when it's dark, and if you have to, because, when we're training for comrades, during the week we have long runs and we cannot really start running at 7 because we have jobs. So then we run in groups. So for instance, Fat Cats, we are in different areas around Johannesburg and also around the country. So we always encourage our members to run together. So we have crews. For instance, in Midrand, we have a Midrand crew for Fat Cats and also other clubs. So we're always encouraging runners to run together, run in groups, and because people have different paces, we always make sure that no one is left behind, because it has really become a very unsafe environment for us as runners.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about running in groups, but there was another incident which happened just this week, I believe, where a cyclist was also attacked. He's recovering in hospital. He was stabbed in the back, his bike stolen from him. And you know, he was cycling in a group. We now know that even cycling, running together, gathering in groups does not necessarily mean safety in numbers. You know, where do we go from there if that is indeed the case?
I think, like a lot of the ills that we have at the moment, it's a community thing. It has to be that way. For instance, we had a few occasions where we've had like the securities at the estates escort some of the runners on those dark mornings. So it has to be something that we tackle as a community. It cannot be a problem for runners or cyclists just because they are the ones that are on the firing line. So I think we have to come up with ways as a community to sort of just stamp out this, because we really cannot be living in fear every day. I mean, when we go out for a run, you just want to stay healthy, you want to clear your head, but it's not really going to be clearing your head if you always have to be looking over your shoulders. So I think it's something that we need to approach as a community, find solutions together, because if it's left to runners or cyclists because they are the ones on the road every morning or afternoon, then it's really going to be a very hard thing to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that crossed my mind was, you know, for example, if you are doing a run, do you perhaps have a car that's following a group. All of the possible solutions just seem like such a huge ask, because obviously the distances can be quite far. If you're training for comrades, you're running upwards of a marathon on any given long run. Are these reasonable solutions to try and get cars to track runners on those long runs if they're starting at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, and it's a bit complicated because when you look at the roads that we have, for instance, the size of the road does not really allow you to maybe have a car tracking you, because as runners alone, sometimes we are at risk of being hit by a car because drivers are not really too lenient towards us. So it becomes very difficult to say you have a car following you. And when you have a group of maybe 20 people that are running, and like you say, the distances on Wednesdays when we have long runs for comrades, we can run up to 30 kilometers. So when you have people spread out maybe in a kilometer, it becomes a bit complicated to say you will have a car that follows everyone, because some are slow, some are faster. Yeah. So it's really hard. So on weekends, what we do with the long runs, because we can go up to 40 and more, we have what we call support points along the way. So that also becomes a bit of a safety net, because we have those support points at, let's say, every 3 to 5 kilometers. And at least at every 3 to 5 kilometers there is a group of people that will be there for you. And in that way, we sort of just mitigate it a bit. And also those supporters move along with the runners once the last runner goes by. So that also becomes a bit better.
And also, of course, making sure that everyone who started the run finishes the run, being accountable for each other when we do go out, whether it's cycling or running or whatever other sport it is. And of course, our hearts go out to Kirsten Kluyts' family, the runner who was found dead along that path in George Lea Park. It's still an ongoing conversation. Komegni, let me thank you for your time and weighing in on the discussion. Komegni Noubactep is with Fat Cats Athletics Club. It's going to take a whole range of interventions to ensure that runners and cyclists are safe.